Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something we all experience but rarely notice: how businesses secretly direct our behavior as consumers.
So, have you ever felt like you're actually working for the store you're shopping in? Seriously, think about it. Picture a time you awkwardly fumbled at a self-checkout kiosk while a huge line of frustrated shoppers formed behind you. Or maybe you waited endlessly in a queue just to hand over your money. We've all been there, right? It's a universal feeling. But here's the thing. There is a very specific, strategic reason for it.
You aren't just imagining things. In the world of services marketing, you are officially considered a partial employee. No joke. You are a customer who actively participates in the production and delivery of a service. You're not just some passive consumer enjoying a product anymore. You're an active, totally unpaid worker, and your performance directly dictates a business's operational efficiency.
In this explainer, we're unpacking exactly how businesses write your script, hack your wait times, and put you to work. We'll be covering You Are the Actor, scripting customer performance, the psychology of waiting, the self-service shift, and finally, backstage, marketing, ops, HR. Let's get to it.
Starting off with Section 1, You Are the Actor, the theatrical metaphor of services.
Let's kick things off with a brilliant metaphor from the source material. Think of the entire customer experience as a staged production. The physical setting of the store or restaurant, that's the stage. The employees, and yes, you, the consumer, you're the actors, and the performance is entirely scripted. We all have assigned roles to play here. And as humans, we have this deep-seated need for predictability to perform those roles well. If everyone knows their lines, the play is a hit. But if someone forgets their role, total chaos. Because of this, businesses actually categorize our performance abilities. It's a pretty sharp contrast. On one side, we have the novice customer. Think of the person who walks into a bustling new coffee shop and has absolutely no idea how to order that convoluted secret menu item. They just don't know the script. On the flip side, we have the expert customer. This person knows exactly where to stand, what specific jargon to use, and they swipe their card seamlessly. To a business, your level of expertise is the #1 constraint on how smoothly their operation runs. You see, we all walk in with an expected script. It's basically our benchmark for evaluating the whole experience. Like, think about the script you expect at a really fancy restaurant. You expect a host, a sommelier, a specific flow of courses. Now, the source material highlights a fascinating psychological concept called attribution. If the dinner goes perfectly, you feel smart, right? You claim the credit for choosing such an amazing place. But if it fails, if the performance breaks down, you immediately attribute that failure to someone else, usually the waiter.
Which brings us to Section 2, Scripting Customer Performance, Directing the Play.
So how exactly does a business manage all these unpredictable partial employees running around their stage? Well, management has to balance 4 key tasks. It all starts right at the foundation: auditing your consumer's performance expertise. A business has to figure out exactly how many novices versus experts they're dealing with every single day. From there, they have to navigate increasing the share of experts, changing the scripts incredibly carefully so they don't confuse people, and ultimately coping with both the clueless novices and the hyper-efficient experts at the exact same time. To maximize operational efficiency, businesses don't just sit back and hope you figure it out. No, they actively accelerate our training. They attract potential experts, give clues comparing the service to something you already understand, and plant subtle hints right within the physical environment. But the most powerful tool? They let consumers watch each other. Seriously, have you ever stood in a new line, quietly observing the person in front of you so you don't look foolish when it's your turn? Yeah, that is entirely by design. You're literally learning your lines from your fellow actors. Moving on to Section 3, the psychology of waiting, time in the green room. This brings us to what is probably the most relatable part of this entire explainer: the agonizing experience of waiting in line. Over years of trial and error in the service industry, researchers have identified 8 psychological principles that explain exactly why waiting feels like pure torture. Notice how many of these principles, like uncertain waits or unexplained waits, are deeply rooted in our fundamental human need for control. We absolutely hate feeling powerless and left in the dark. As it turns out, there's a massive psychological gap between actual waiting time and perceived waiting time. A really crucial point here is Principle 6. Unfair waits feel much longer than equitable waits. Think about a bank or a Wendy's that uses a single snake-like line. It's equitable. Whoever gets there first gets served first. Simple. Now compare that to the traditional McDonald's setup, where you have to pick a specific register line. If the line next to you suddenly moves faster because someone has a ridiculously complex order in yours, you feel cheated.
That potential for an unfair wait infuriates us faster than almost anything else.
Then there's Principle 7. This shows that we will eagerly tolerate longer waits if we perceive the service or the provider's status as highly valuable. You'll happily wait an hour for a table at a highly rated upscale restaurant, but if you have to wait 10 minutes at a fast food drive-thru, you're furious. The exact same logic applies to status. People will wait much longer for a meeting with a full professor than an assistant professor. The perceived value completely alters our internal patient script.
And we can't forget Principle 1. Unoccupied waits feel drastically longer than occupied waits. To combat the perception of time just dragging on, clever businesses simply distract us. They occupy your attention before the service even formally begins. This is exactly why busy restaurants have comfortable lounge areas where you can grab a drink, or why golf courses have driving ranges. If you're doing something, you aren't obsessively agonizing over the wait time.
Now for Section 4, the self-service shift, rise of the understudy.
Let's explore how businesses are trying to remove the employee actor from the stage entirely, forcing us into self-service. As we transition from partial employees to doing literally everything ourselves, companies have to completely redesign the physical environment. They call this the servicescape. Since we're doing the heavy lifting now, they have to use ergonomics to tailor this environment specifically around our physical and mental limits. They have to account for our cognitive capabilities, like can we easily understand the self-serve menu screen, and our psychomotor capabilities, can we physically reach the barcode scanner without straining. We've become the primary worker in their space. But you can't just toss a customer at a self-service kiosk and expect them to perform flawlessly right out of the gate. A successful shift requires 4 critical steps. First, develop trust. You have to explain why this actually benefits the customer, not just the company's bottom line. Second, promote the perks like ultimate customization or lightning-fast speed. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, you have to teach the customers how to use the technology. And finally, companies must continuously monitor and evaluate the results to see if this new script is actually working.
Let's wrap things up with Section 5, Backstage, Marketing, Ops, HR.
So who are the directors behind the scenes pulling the strings on this whole production? The reality that customers are inseparable from the service process completely changes how internal corporate departments function. Operations has to build a physical process that intricately includes us. But marketing takes on a totally new role. They actively manage our psychological perception of the service. They're the ones managing those waiting time anxieties we just talked about. Meanwhile, human resources, they have to train employees not just on technical skills, but on how to cope with our wildly unpredictable novice behaviors right there on the floor. But here's the rub. The source material calls this the automation trap. As companies rush to automate everything to save a few bucks, they force us into strict, unyielding technological scripts. A human employee, they can improvise if you mess up your lines. A machine cannot be empowered to bend the rules for you. Clicking through endless if-then branches on an automated phone tree or a self-service kiosk is incredibly tedious. It feels cold, it's robotic, and it can be deeply frustrating because it leaves zero room for human error. Which brings us to a final, provocative thought to leave you with. As machines handle more and more of the script, and human actors disappear from the stage entirely, are we truly becoming empowered expert performers? Or are we just becoming the permanent, unpaid employees of tomorrow? The next time you step up to a self-checkout, you'll know exactly who is working for who. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the script.